AITA for not saving my mother's child from foster care? When I, 24 male, was 16, my dad died in an accident. A week later, my mother moved another guy in and told me she was pregnant. Within 5 months of her moving him in, she was married to this guy and had a daughter with him. I quietly moved out days before my 18th birthday and went no contact with my mother and her husband and kid. My grandparents, aunts, uncles, all had a relationship with them and me, but separately. They asked me once or twice if I'd ever be open to reconciling, and I said no. I went no contact with one of my aunts 2 years ago when she invited me over to her place for lunch, and then sprung the fact she had my mother's other kid there. My aunt said she wanted to give me a chance to have a relationship away from my mother, and I said I didn't want one. She said it didn't include my mother, and I told her it didn't matter. The kid wasn't someone I wanted a relationship with. I said we might be related, but I didn't care about her. And I told my aunt she should have known that and instead tried to force me, so I was done. She told me it wasn't right to pass up the chance. I said the kid wouldn't want to be around someone who feels like they shouldn't exist. And that's how I feel. Last November, my mother and her husband died, and their daughter went to my grandparents for a couple of weeks. Then she went to a couple of other relatives. But then none wanted to keep her and raise her. This is when they wanted me to step up. I said no a million times and warned I'd go no contact with them if they didn't accept my answer. They ended up placing her in foster care and had the caseworker reach out to see if I'd be willing to become her guardian. I explained I wasn't, and I turned down the chance for contact between us. I said I wanted none. I didn't want any updates, and I didn't want my details shared with her or her future foster or adoptive parents. My mother's family didn't expect me to keep firm on my decision, and they questioned me for weeks before I followed through and went no contact. I was asked how I could live myself. If I didn't feel guilty, was I not worried I was throwing away the chance for a relationship one day? I was honest with them that I didn't care. I didn't want a relationship. They asked if I'd be okay with her being abused in foster care. I said it wasn't something I'd feel guilty about, and I said if they were so bothered, they should take her back and leave me alone. It was quiet for a few weeks, following me blocking them everywhere. But then, a cousin saw me on a night out with some friends and brought it up, and I had to leave because they refused to be ignored. My cousin tried so hard to guilt trip me. The whole family have, really. But I don't feel guilty. I could have taken the kid. I have a second bedroom in my small place. I don't make great money, but I could have made it work. I just don't want to, and the things I said to my aunt before, it's still how I feel. AITA for this? I'm curious what unbiased parties will say. ETA. For clarification, my mother had an affair while my dad was alive, and they were still married, together when dad died. She was already pregnant then too, and the affair partner was the father.